How you doing? My name's Adam. I'm going to show you how to make a really good buffalo style chicken wing soup. So what you're going to need, you're going to need 8 cups of chicken stock. Now I made my own. You're more than welcome to use one from the store. For that amount, you're going to need 1 cup of flour and 1 cup of butter. That's going to be for a roux. And if you've watched cooking shows, a roux is just a thickening agent. And I'll show you how to put that together when we get to that point. This is about 5 cups of chicken. I roasted off 4 half chicken breasts, and that's what I yielded from it. If you want more chicken in your soup, feel free to get more. If you want less, no problem. This is about a cup of carrots. If you want to change it up, you want to use half celery, half carrots, perfectly fine. Now it's going to be basically a cream soup. I got 2 cups of cream. Gentleman I know, Frank, he recommended this. This is a hot sauce. That's going to give it the wing component. I got a little extra butter here for sauteing the carrots off when we get to that point. And I got some salt and pepper to taste. Now if you buy the stock or broth from the store, you probably want to omit that just because it's going to be a little salty. Okay, so what I got, had about 2 tablespoons of that butter, threw it in there. And that cup of carrots, we're just sauteing it off. I'm just going to season it off with a little salt and pepper. And we're basically just trying to get the carrots started, let them cook off a few minutes. Once they start getting a little soft, what we're going to do is make the roux. I'm doing this over a medium-high heat. All I'm going to do is add some butter here. That 1 cup of butter. We're just going to let that melt down here. This is a 6-quart pot. Now once the butter melts down, you don't have to have it completely melted when you do this. To that 1 cup of butter, we're going to add the 1 cup of flour. This is an all-purpose flour. Can't go wrong with all-purpose. And we're just going to stir that in. And all we're going to do is use the heat on the burner to cook the flour. Now yours might look a little thicker, maybe a little looser. Just the amount of flour. Don't worry about it. Now some people tell you to cook this for a couple minutes. Some may tell you more, some may tell you less. And basically you can, if you smell it, you're just kind of going to look for a nutty kind of flavor. It just means the starch is cooked off. You won't get that like pasty taste once it's done. I'm just going to keep stirring it as it cooks. If I turn it down, you're more than welcome to leave it sitting kind of low and slow, but this is fine. Well, the longer you cook it, the darker it'll become. But we really don't need it too dark. If you're making like a beef soup, you might want to take it up a couple degrees of color, a little bit darker. That's all I'm doing. I'm just going to smell it a little bit, look for that nutty kind of flavor. And we're pretty close to it. Can you smell that nutty flavor?
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. That's pretty good right there. All I'm going to do is take it off the heat, just to start. Now this stock, I just made it. It's basically room temperature. If it was cold, you'd want to add it little by little and keep stirring it in slowly. Now with it being room temperature, you can kind of get a little more carried away. I'm going to pour about a quarter of this in here. I'm going to return it back to the heater. I'm just going to stir all that in. You can already see what it's doing. It's just going to turn it into a nice little paste here. And once that's incorporated, which won't take long at all, I'm going to take it back off the heat. Go and pour about half of this in. And return it back to the heat. Oops. And it'll come up to temperature pretty quickly here. This doesn't take long at all. And basically adding it in parts, you're going to kind of avoid some lumps here. I'm just going to pour the rest of it in here. There we go, that should be pretty good. I'm just going to turn that heat down to a low here. Just going to add all the heavy cream here. Now the heavy cream's cold, so I'm just going to add it little by little here. In fact, I'm going to take it off the heat. That gives it that nice creaminess. It's just a matter of pouring the stuff in. That's all we're doing right now. A little Frank's hot sauce. Incorporate that. Now if you want it spicier, feel free to add more. If you don't want it this spicy, you can cut it back a little bit. You're just looking for a nice color to it. And then, wouldn't be buffalo chicken soup without the chicken. We're going to add this whole thing here. Put it back on the heat. Just kind of let it work into that chicken, bring it up to temperature, and that's it. I put together a couple bowls of the buffalo chicken soup. Wouldn't be right if we didn't put a little garnish on there of blue cheese dressing. Mayonnaise. Pick out your favorite mayonnaise. Just put a good heaping spoonful in there. Your favorite blue cheese crumbles. Now a little lemon juice would knock this off nicely too. This mayonnaise actually has a very nice tang to it, so you probably won't even need it. You're just going to stir it together, and voila, you have blue cheese dressing. And if you didn't want to use blue cheese dressing on it as a little garnish, just put some blue cheese crumbles on there if you'd like. I just thought it'd be nice to put a little blue cheese dressing right there. Voila.